What a crazy card. UFC 329, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. Absolute banger matchups from start to finish. I'm going to be breaking it all down. Maybe you're going to be the one that saves me. Conor McGregor couldn't do it. He didn't get it done. It was very sad. It was supposed to be the greatest comeback in sports history. It ended up being a disappointing showing, a disappointing outing for Conor McGregor. He went out there. I'm going to start with the main event. He went out there. He threw the switch kick. His knee fucked. His knee was fucked. My foot was a balloon. Something with his ACL. His ACL tore. He was limping. He went down. Holloway finished him. That was that. The ref called it off. It was a short fight. It lasted about 30 seconds. It was disappointing. I'm not going to lie. It was disappointing to see as a Conor McGregor fan. It was disappointing to see him go out like that. He went out sad, man. He went out sad. He didn't stay for the post-fight interview. He didn't stay for nothing. There was mutual respect there between him and Max, which is nice to see, but there was nothing there. Conor showed no improvements. He didn't show anything. He didn't show any resemblance or any semblance of who he once was. He went out there and he looked slow. He looked old. He looked like a man who had been off for 5 years. You can't take this game and be in this game as a part-time fighter. You have to take it seriously. You have to want it. You have to be in there all the time, in the fire with the best of the best. And Conor hasn't lived that life for a very long time, and it showed in there. It truly did show in there. Max Holloway looked fast. He looked quick. We didn't really get to see much. We didn't get to see many exchanges between the pair. Obviously, the leg kick happened. I see a lot of people saying online that it was a pre-existing injury, that he injured it on the walkout or whatever. But we see in the backstage footage, he's throwing leg kicks, Conor that is. He's throwing high kicks. He's throwing switch kicks. He's looking stable on the leg. And if it was a pre-existing injury, I doubt he would have gone in there and thrown a jumping switch kick. I think he was honestly delusional enough to believe that he could go out there and he could head kick KO Max Holloway in the first round within 10 seconds, and it'll be the craziest comeback of all time. I truly do believe he was thinking like that. He did it against Aldo. Guys have done it before. Jorge Masvidal against Ben Askren. It's been done before. Obviously, that was a knee. But these crazy quick KOs have happened before, and I think Conor was really hoping that would be the case. It wasn't. He fucking injured his knee and he went out sad. It is what it is. You can't really say much about Max Holloway. He didn't really do anything. Respect to Max Holloway, though, to be fair, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this much. Max actually showed a bit of mercy when he saw that Conor's leg was injured. He was really trying to signal to the ref, and he didn't actually land that many punches on Conor. He could have landed a lot more on Conor. So Max kind of signaled to the ref that Conor was injured, and the ref obviously wanted to keep going. And then when Conor sort of looked like he couldn't defend himself anymore, the fight was over without Conor taking too much unnecessary damage. So fair play and respect to Max. But it's just sad to see, man. Conor McGregor, legend of this game, one of the all-time greats. It's getting on there. I just wish we saw a fight. I wish we saw a decent scrap between Max and Conor. It's been 5 years in the making. All the hype, all the build-up, all the promo, and for it to end like that, it was anticlimactic. It was like the leg break all over again. And I don't know if Conor's gonna have his moment again. I don't know if he's gonna have his moment in the sunlight again. That's tough. His star power is diminishing. He's got one fight left on the contract. I think he's gonna fight it out and try and do some boxing match with Manny Pacquiao or some shit like that. But it's tough to see, man. Conor McGregor, bro. Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I worked for. This guy's like the reason I'm into the sport. This guy's the reason so many people are into the sport. He's one of the biggest. He is the biggest name. He's the biggest draw ever in combat sports history. Bigger than Muhammad Ali, bigger than Mike Tyson, bigger than Tyson Fury, bigger than any athlete in the UFC. The top 5 stars in the UFC right now combined. Alex Pereira, Sean O'Malley, Habib, Ilya, all these guys, they don't do the numbers that Conor does. Conor is on another level. He's done, bro. He's done. I doubt we see him back in there again. But yeah, that was what it was. The next fight was Paddy versus BSD. Interesting fight. Very interesting fight. Paddy went in there, subbed him, put him to sleep easily. BSD panic shot a sloppy takedown after a head kick, and Paddy just cinched up a guillotine, and Das choked him. So that was very, very exciting. That was the true main event. The actual main event was a bit of a dud. Paddy versus BSD. BSD went to sleep. He actually didn't tap. He was completely out. Mark Goddard had to pull Paddy off him. He was outlied. Paddy Pimblett. What do we see? I think we see Paddy versus Max in like a number one contender bout. That's really where I see Paddy going. They're going to try and angle towards a title shot for Paddy Pimblett. And after that, he definitely deserves it for sure, 100%. That was a banger fight. That was a banger opening to what should have been the McGregor comeback, bro. You know, Paddy Pimblett singing Wonderwall. You can't write this. And then it got burnt. The script got ripped up. And that was that. Paddy Pimblett, incredibly impressive win. It's being overshadowed a lot by the McGregor loss, as everything on this card really is. Paddy Pimblett, fair play. Number one contender fight for him next, and then he can run it back with Justin or Arman or whoever the champ is. I see a lot of people saying Ilia Topuria next, actually. That's probably a better matchup than Max. Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. That's the super fight to make. I believe the next one, or the one before that, was Bautista versus Sandhagen. Sandhagen, just a big nerd. Journaling, Dune, best fighter in the universe. Shut up, bro. Your knee got snapped. Just like McGregor's. His knee got fucked up by some twister, a Suliev stretch or something like that. Tough fight for Sandhagen. You know, his title aspirations they're over. He's never going to get a title shot. He's had his title shot. He's never going to get a title shot again. He probably won't fight Sean O'Malley. He probably beats Sean O'Malley, but they're probably not going to give him any step-ups now. He's going to have to fight down, or even further down than Bautista. So Sandhagen's done. It's a pretty close fight, pretty back and forth between him and Bautista, but Bautista was pretty clearly ahead for most of it. Very good fight. We had Lonnie Kavanagh versus Brandon Royval. Lonnie Kavanagh got subbed. He almost went out, just like BSD. Not quite as bad as BSD. Fuck, that was tough to see. Lonnie Kavanagh, he almost knocked out Royval. Royval's very chinny at 25. I think he should consider a move up to bantamweight. He seems like he cuts a lot of weight. Brandon Royval with the submission, very impressive. I think he called out some Russian guy who he's never fought before in the top 10. This guy, Brandon Royval, has fought everyone in the fucking flyweight division. He almost beat the champ, Josh Van. Obviously, that was on short notice for Van. He's very good. Royval is very good. I shouldn't have counted him out. Fair play. Beating Lonnie Kavanagh is legit. The young, hungry prospect, the young contender. Tough to see, but he'll bounce back for sure. He's young. He's 26. Tough to see, though. Tough to see. He's one of my favorite fighters. You know, very exciting, very explosive. He just kind of looked like the moment got to him, and he got taken down off a sloppy attempt from Brandon when they're both tired, and he gave up his back, and that was that. That's all she wrote. Lonnie Kavanagh out, and I think the craziest comeback of this fight, not Brandon Royval, as much as that was a comeback, it was actually Terrence McKinney and King Green. Terrence McKinney had bloodied up the face of King Green quite severely, and King Green came back in the last round, or in the last second of the first round, and knocked out McChinney. Absolutely insane. I don't know how he keeps doing it at 40 years old. Like, genuinely, I don't understand how King Green can go out there and just beat up these contenders. Like, he's beaten up these young guys who should beat him. King Green is, like, hands down one of the best unks in the UFC. Literally, he goes out there with his hands down. Absolutely insane. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Just like I wasn't expecting McGregor to get knocked out or beaten. But it's all good. It was crazy how he just came back, and within literally the last second of that round, he beats up McKinney, and the ref calls it off. I think honestly it could have gone to the second round, and I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if McKinney would have recovered, if King Green would have emptied the tank and would be gassed. You know, you can never count anyone out. I think realistically, 1 second left, he was kind of defending himself. The fight could have kept going, but fair play to King Green. Absolutely insane scenes to open up the main card. And I'm only going to talk about two of the prelims, the most exciting ones for me, Whittaker and Gable. For me, Whittaker should have been on the main event, but obviously King Green delivered. Fucking crazy from Robert Whittaker to move up to 205 pounds and to beat up the number 13 guy in the world. I see a lot of people saying he looked pudgy, he looked slow, he looked out of breath. He looked all of that at middleweight, to be honest with you. He is aging. He's out of his prime. He's obviously one of these guys that is extremely skillful, but doesn't carry a lot of power. And I think the 205 move is going to do wonders for that. We saw him break Krylov's jaw. So clearly the power is revitalized at 205. The chin is looking good. He took some big shots off Krylov. It looked like he was going to get wrestled to a decision early on, and I was a little bit worried, and he did look a bit gassed, noticeably at the end of the first and second rounds. But he came out there in the third, and he just showed levels, man. He just was in and out with that quick karate style. And it was the jabs. I don't even think he threw that many kicks. It was mostly his boxing and takedown defense that won in that fight. And Krylov needs to retire. He's taken a lot of damage. I remember when he first was coming up, he was this like massive, undefeated heavyweight contender. He slimmed down to light heavyweight. Got some decent wins here and there. I think he beat Gustafsson, which is a crazy, crazy win to have on your resume. But he's done, man. He's taken a lot of damage. And Whittaker putting you away in his 205 debut is not a humiliating loss, but it's not a great one either. You know, Whittaker didn't look like prime Whittaker out there. He looked good, but he didn't look great, you know. But it was still good to see. Anytime Whittaker wins it's a fucking W, man. You know, Whittaker's one of my favorite fighters. Fair play, Whittaker. That was crazy. I don't know how this guy's going to do against the rest of the contenders in this division, because he does look very small compared to them. But we'll see. I feel like he can. Does he beat Paulo Costa in a rematch? I don't know. At 205, like the difference in how Paulo Costa looked at light heavyweight. Costa looked like a legit light heavyweight. Whittaker kind of looked like a middleweight who didn't cut weight. So we'll see. But, you know, it's nice to see Whittaker get a W, man. He's one of the most wholesome guys in the UFC. Calls out Reddit after the fight. Come on, bro. Like, this guy's the man. Robert Whittaker is going to have like a 10th kid after this. So big W to Rob. Moving on down, I am going to talk about Gable Steveson. The rest of the prelims, there are a couple interesting ones. You know, Tracy Cortez lost. Rest in peace, my girlfriend lost. Did I say that? No. Zachary Reese got knocked out. His boy McGregor, he's like a fanboy of McGregor. He got knocked out on a McGregor card. That kind of made me a bit sad. There was nothing really else interesting on the early prelims. Oh, Luke Riley got the dub, got the knockout, fair play. Big contender in the featherweight division. But the main star of the prelims was Gable Steveson, the man himself, the prodigy of John Jones. He went out there and he looked hesitant on the feet. He looked hesitant and he was throwing a lot, but he kind of looked worried about what was coming back. Nonetheless, he looked impressive and he got the knockout. It wasn't smooth sailing, you know. There was a shot, he threw a shot that, in my opinion, landed on the gut. It landed on the belt line. It didn't hit the cup. Goddard thought it hit the cup. He stopped the fight. Ellison got a timeout. And realistically, that didn't do much. Ellison didn't get to recover that much. Steveson didn't really get to catch a second wind. As people were saying, it's unfair. I don't really think that did anything. It just kind of prolonged the inevitable. And the inevitable was Gable Steveson going out there and getting the knockout. There are hints of John Jones you can see in Gable Steveson. There are hints of John Jones. But realistically, I mean, he's his own man. He's his own fighter. He's looking good. He shot a takedown. He couldn't get it. It's going to be interesting to see where this guy goes from now, because he's fought a guy that's kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's only ever fought once in the UFC outside of this fight against Pericic, and he got knocked out in that one. Pericic is very good, but he still got knocked out. You know, it's not the litmus test that we need for him right now to see if he can hang with the top 10 guys, but it's a good step into the UFC, and it's a good debut on the McGregor card. Very good debut from Steveson, man, and this guy's going to be interesting to watch. Whether or not he fizzles out or if he rises to the hype is still yet to be decided, but it's looking good. You know, you get your UFC debut on a McGregor card with a knockout. You can't really ask for much more. So yeah, that's my breakdown of the Conor McGregor UFC 329 fight card. A lot of interesting fights, a lot of banger fights. Disappointing main event. Conor McGregor went out there, he just threw his leg in a weird way and he fucking threw out his ACL just like the first one. History repeats itself. I think Conor McGregor is going to be in a dark place after this fight. He's going to be in a dark place. There's going to be demons. He's going to be battling demons. And I hope he doesn't relapse. I hope he doesn't go back to the cocaine, to the yachts, to the hoes, you know. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that is going to be paining him in the future, and I just hope he stays, man. I just hope he stays with us. I hope he stays locked in. we don't need to see him in the UFC again. You know, he's given us so much. He's given us so many great moments. He's given us so many legendary performances. And even if he never fights again, what he did for the sport will never be forgotten. As much as people will hate on him, as much as people will shit talk him, he is Conor McGregor. He did make this sport massive, and he will never be forgotten. He is the one, the only. He is the biggest star in the history of the sport. As much as it is sad to see him go out like that and lose like that, and it wasn't even a war like it was against Poirier, even in the third fight. Like, even in the third fight, there were moments where he tagged him, right? It was kind of competitive up until the injury, right? This one, nothing even happened. It kind of looked like if you or me had stepped into the octagon and tried to throw some kicks. It really just didn't look like a UFC fighter was fighting another UFC fighter. It looked like a UFC fighter, Max Holloway, was fighting a retired guy, Conor McGregor. And maybe it was the haircut, maybe it was I don't know, man. There's no words that can describe it. It is very sad to see. And, you know, even if you hate Conor McGregor, even if you dislike him for all the shit that he's done outside the octagon, you wanted to see him get the fuck beaten out of him. You know, you wanted to see Max Holloway put it on him and beat the crap out of him, you know, like, that wasn't even the best case scenario for a McGregor hater. You know, a McGregor hater would want to see Max fucking tee off on him and land 5-6 shots in the pocket against the fence. This was barely a fight. It was a nothing fight. And Conor looked defeated afterwards. He didn't stay for the post-fight interview. He just left the octagon. He put out a tweet and he said he is in hell. I really hope that he just stays with his family. And listen, man, you got a beautiful family. You got lots of money. Life could be worse, but it's gonna be a tough time in the McGregor household, and we'll see what happens next. Thanks for listening to my breakdown. I really appreciate it. I've seen some growth on the channel. If you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be great. Hit the like button. I really appreciate it. I'll see you boys later. Much love, Conor McGregor. Sad.